language was particularly ugly, wasn't it? I mean, they were talking about it's rather like conspiracy theorists. It's always meant in a sort of dismissive way, as opposed to the things that we should question. And there was the whole thing about herd immunity, where people were basically dehumanized and treated like animals. What's your view, Basil?
Well, at the beginning of the campaign, at the beginning of the whole farrago, I should say, we were talking about finding the best protocols for treating COVID. We were talking about herd immunity. The government's chief medical advisor, Chris Whitty, said most people will experience only mild disease. And yet, over the course of 6 months, we went from that to everybody's got to have an injection. In fact, everybody's got to have a series of injections. I mean, I thought we would all be safe from serious coercion into having the injections, not just because of the ethics, but also because, as we all know, it takes 5, 10, 15 years of development in clinical trials to bring a vaccine to market. Yet somehow all that was truncated. Why? Well, what had to be created for that process to be foreshortened so drastically, so tragically for some people, was a crisis of sufficient magnitude had to be synthesized, had to be confected in order to drive a steamroller through all the normal safeguards. So as the months went on, supposedly the so-called epidemic got worse and worse and worse. It's extremely doubtful whether that was borne out by the evidence. The Nightingale hospitals remained empty. And let's not forget as well that we saw pictures of people dropping in the street like flies in China. I mean, that was on the front page of The Guardian. That was shown on the BBC News, as if this disease was so deadly that you were just going to collapse in the street. All that was part of the psychological operation.
Critically analyzing global affairs, the Muckrakers on today's News Talk, TNT.